The big question on everybody's minds today is whether Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper are going to get together after his breakup. In this video, we're going to talk about, can men and women actually be friends? And at the end, I'm going to tell you why I hope they don't get together. Now, I'm one of those women that's always had a ton of male friends. It's something I'm very proud of, it's something I value, but I recognize that the question of whether men and women can be friends is a little tricky. So as I sit here day drinking this beautiful Sauvignon Blanc from Marlborough, we're going to get into it. Remember when Billy Crystal famously said in When Harry Met Sally,
is that men and women can't be friends because the sex part always gets in the way.
And he's right. The sex part can get in the way. If you ask men if men and women can be friends, they will say no. If you ask women, they'll say yes. And the science kind of explains why. In research that was done, it actually revealed that men still want sex from their opposite sex friends, while females believe that the relationships are platonic. And it gets worse. The men actually believe that their female friends are attracted to them as well. So while men overestimate the amount of attraction in a friendship, women underestimate it. Definitely the makings of a shit show. But we should cut ourselves some slack, because the truth is human beings have only been interacting like this for a pretty short time. For most of human history, men have been hanging out with men and women have been hanging out with women. It was only in the late 19th and early 20th century, when women started joining the workforce and attending universities, that the potential for opposite sex friendships even began to exist. Plus, there's our social conditioning. Boys were, kind of still are, taught that women have primarily romantic or sexual value. They're not really considered equal enough to be friends. Boys are also taught that you're not really allowed to be intimate with anybody other than your spouse. So there are a lot of men out there that won't consider friendships with anybody outside from their wives, let alone Susie from the accounting department. And don't get me wrong, women have this social conditioning as well, but the research does show that it's harder for men to break out of that sexual mold. The more traditional a man's upbringing, the harder it is for him to make that switch. Remember when Vice President Pence declared, "Thou shalt not lunch with somebody of the opposite sex"? Yeah, I rest my case. Heartbreaking as it is for those of us who want to lunch with Mike Pence, it kind of reinforces the point. So if opposite sex friendships are so difficult to maintain, why bother? Well, because the research shows that they're also hugely beneficial. Men gain insight into the female mind, women into the male mind. It's a beautiful yin and yang. I can tell from my own life, having these relationships have been hugely enriching. But as discussed, there are downsides. The aforementioned misperceptions around sexual attraction, cock blocking, jealousy when one of them gets paired up. Oh, and what about the addition of a partner? That's always fun. How many of you have been dropped by a friend because their new boyfriend or girlfriend doesn't like your presence in their lives? Yeah, hurts like a bitch. Yeah, that can't be right. There's a school of thought that says that you should only have opposite sex friends if you're single. If you're a straight woman and you're in a relationship, it's only gay boys and girlfriends for you. And as much as I love my gay boys and my girlfriends, I think that thinking is a little restrictive. First of all, it's part of the biggest problem with marriage. All the research shows that it's really unrealistic and unhealthy to think that one person is going to fulfill all your needs, emotional, sexual, intellectual. So why not spread the love? But the critics to that approach think that, all right, when a relationship is going well, it's fine to have opposite sex friends, but the minute something goes sour, which inevitably will happen in a relationship, you're going to go running to your opposite sex friend and you guys are going to get down each other's pants. It could happen, sure. Assuming your opposite sex friend is waiting around for your relationship to collapse, and in which case, is that really a friendship? And I think that's the core point here. Men and women can be friends, but it takes a large amount of self-awareness, of communication, and of maturity. But here's the good news. We are human beings. We are higher animals, which means we have primal urges, but we also have the capacity to choose not to act on them in the interest of not sabotaging a relationship, not hurting a friend, for just plain sanity. The standard for opposite sex friendships should be exactly the same as the one for same sex friendships, which is having each other's true best interests at heart. So you have to really be honest with yourself and with the other person. If all you really want is a fuck buddy, then sure, go for it. But make sure you let them know. But don't pretend like it's something deeper, because then you're screwing it up for the rest of us. And as for Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper, I don't give a rat's ass whether they get together or not. I just hope that they're honest with themselves and with each other. And for all my fabulous guy friends out there, I love you. I'm not going to bang you, but I will take you out to lunch. Cheers. This is Kamna from Kamna Live, and this is your destination for BS-free conversations about all the things you care about. If you liked what you saw, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, potter around and see what else we have here, and of course, tell your friends. Cheers.